Tonight, taking steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19 on public transit.
Public health experts said it was coming here, we needed to plan ahead, and so that's what we've been doing.
Officials are on alert as 3 more cases of the virus are confirmed in the GTA. Plus,
it's very stressful over the last bunch of years. Oh, sorry, months, not years. Feels like years, though, actually.
home at last. Residents of 650 Parliament start moving back into their units this week. And we'll take you to the Viola Desmond Awards ceremony at Ryerson University, recognizing the contributions of 5 women in the Black community. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. The province confirming 3 new cases of COVID-19 today, all in the GTA, bringing Ontario's total to 18. Now, in all cases, those infected traveled to China, Iran, or Egypt, or were family members of people who did. So far, it doesn't appear the virus is spreading locally, and there are numerous efforts underway to try to keep it that way. Alice Chiasson has more.
Our transit infrastructure is getting a scrub down.
So one of the things that we piloted a few weeks ago was a new long-acting antimicrobial agent for our trains. The pilot was extremely successful. And what it means is that the surfaces on a train or a bus stay cleaner longer. And that's important when you're dealing with something like coronavirus. So we are now applying it to all of our trains and buses. That's something brand new for us.
Over the weekend, Metrolinx issued a warning to passengers who traveled on the same bus as one of the recent positive patients. That was out of an abundance of caution because, as we're learning, it takes more than just sitting close to someone to contract COVID-19.
We're continuing to see that even with all our ones. We're doing the mandates on the flights. We continue to go after those 2 seats back, 2 seats forward, and all the ones so far have been negative.
But if you're worried about catching COVID-19 in a crowded area, you should know this.
There is some debate on whether this could possibly have an airborne component. That has not been by any means shown. It's just something that people worry about. But right now, everything suggests that it's really person-to-person, close face-to-face contact.
Still, though, as a precaution and on the advice of Toronto Public Health, busy places like Scotiabank Arena, city centres and big malls are installing more of these hand sanitizer stands. Today, Public Health confirmed 3 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total in Ontario to 18. All are travel-related, except
We have 2 who have no travel history, but they're related to close family contacts.
emphasis on close. People within 1 meter of each other for extended periods of time in a closed space. The advice for the public in the meantime, if you find yourself in a crowded mall or subway car.
Of course, no one likes someone standing next to you and who's starting hacking and coughing. Cough etiquette's very important.
The TTC has also taken initiative here in increasing their end-of-the-line cleaning. So that means when the streetcars or subway cars go out of service at the end of the night, everything gets scrubbed down, including the surfaces like handrails and the hand straps. And they're also considering using that same antimicrobial spray that Metrolinx is using for their GO Transit fleet. Alice Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Many of the cases in Ontario have been linked to travel from Iran, and that has many in GTA's Iranian Canadian community worried about loved ones stuck in that country. Kelda Yun has more.
Nahid Hussein Zada Barjandi calls her husband Madad in Iran many times a day.
How is it going there? How are you? How are things?
It's not really good situation.
It has been a stressful couple of weeks for the couple.
There is very complicated situation every morning. Actually, nowadays I cannot sleep.
Madad arrived in Iran in mid-February. Shortly after, the country began reporting a surge of COVID-19 infections. Now, with many borders closed and international flights canceled, he's stuck.
And today I was keeping in touch with 5 agencies in Iran, and even here, the travel agency that provide our ticket, he said all is full. And we don't know, some of them is so expensive, between $5,000 to $7,000 like that.
She contacted Global Affairs, which told her the government is not assisting Canadians out of Iran at this time. Hamid Garajeh and Ali Reza Haidari are leaders in the close-knit Iranian community.
Definitely, the feeling is really frightened.
They say even those who have managed to fly home were surprised at the lack of screening at the airport.
they know they're coming from Iran, but no questions or no quarantine or no testing.
This afternoon, that changed. The Canadian government is now asking all passengers from Iran to isolate themselves for 14 days, though many have taken it upon themselves to do that.
If they need any help, of course, we'll be helping.
Meanwhile, with Persian New Year coming up in a few weeks, they are also warning their community of the risk of holding large celebrations.
Right now, over this last weekend, we were informed that at least I'm aware of 3 different events that got canceled.
Back in Thornhill, Nahid says she won't stop trying until her husband makes it home.
I'm lack of energy nowadays, but I'm a kind of person never give up, and I keep continue and hopefully receive a good news very soon. I love you. Bye.
Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, it appears Toronto's latest murder victim may have been dropped off outside an old hospital building near Jane and Highway 400 by someone assuming it still took in emergency patients. Detectives say the victim was 36-year-old Rohan Rowe. Now, this afternoon, they released surveillance video showing the victim being left outside the former Humber River Hospital site by 3 people in a dark-colored sedan. Police later found his body during a patrol of the hospital building. Its urgent care department shut down almost 5 years ago. Investigators say he had several gunshot wounds. Police are hoping more surveillance video can help them track down the people who fled. Well, it was move-in day today for a handful of residents of 650 Parliament Street. You'll recall an electrical fire back in August of 2018 forced more than 1,500 tenants to leave their units. Our Nick Wavert was there as many returned to their homes.
He's been waiting on this day for about 19 months, but Peter Gondos isn't all the way happy.
The problem is we gotta, do all this when it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
In August 2018, a massive electrical fire ripped through the high-rise at 650 Parliament. The flames touched every floor of the building, forcing out nearly 1,500 residents. Gondos and his wife cycled through 4 temporary homes after the fire.
It's been very stressful over the last bunch of years. Months, not years. Feels like years, though, actually.
Today, they were among the first residents to move back after a $60 million repair job.
You've certainly never seen remediation, a reconstruction job of this size in the city's history, nor I think have you ever seen 1,500 people needing to return home.
Mayor John Tory commended those displaced tenants.
They are people that have exhibited a patience and an understanding of something that went beyond their control, it went beyond the city's control.
But the city is trying to get ahead and prevent similar disasters at aging apartments, like the one at 260 Wellesley last spring. After that incident, Toronto announced a plan to inspect the electrical systems at 14 buildings with similar designs and equipment. At 650 Parliament, those systems have been gutted and replaced. Inside the units themselves, there's more work to make the place feel like home again.
There's still a lot of things that need work, and we're going to have to repaint completely, but, it's part of the process, and we'll just make it happen.
Their neighbors will join them over the next 12 weeks. The landlord wants to space out that process, allowing up to 8 units to move back every day. Nick Boisvert, CBC News, Toronto.
Ryan Snodden here with you in the Weather Center in for Colette, and boy, what a day we had in terms of temperatures. All that snow that fell a few days ago really starting to take a hit after these mild temperatures into the double digits in southwestern Ontario. Most of the GTA in those mid-single digits for today, and that rain from earlier is now clearing away out towards eastern Ontario and into Quebec, and we're starting to see some clearing skies. A pretty quiet night overall tonight, but we've got more shower activity on the way as we roll into tomorrow. And here's how things are playing out. There's that back line of that shower activity moving out. Pretty quiet, as I said, through tonight. We'll see the clouds building in as we roll into tomorrow morning. And then we've got some showers that are going to be rolling in late morning, certainly into the afternoon. Do count on a damp commute home for tomorrow, as that shower activity will likely linger into the early evening hours. And then we're talking about into Wednesday morning, slight chance of a wet flurry. Overall, though, Wednesday into Thursday looking pretty quiet. And then we've got our next weather maker tracking in, and this is the one that we'll be talking about all week long. Potential for some snow on the way for not only Friday morning, but throughout the day on Friday. And we'll take a closer look at that with your full 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
City of Toronto crews cleared out a downtown homeless encampment today. The makeshift shelters had been the scene of a number of fires recently, including a large fire over the weekend underneath the Gardiner. Natalie Collada has more.
It's a crushing blow and deeply personal.
Get out of here, bro. Get the out of here, bro. It's like me coming in saying, I'm going to kick in your door and take all your stuff. Sorry about your luck.
As city crews clear out a homeless encampment under the Gardiner Expressway, once again, Nicole and others are forced to pack up their life.
You know, some of us have been through some hard stuff, and it's been really hard.
City officials say they have no choice. There have been 3 fires at homeless encampments so far this year.
One of the reasons we clear encampments is for this very reason, because of the threat of fire.
This fire happened on the weekend. The blaze so intense, part of the on-ramp has melted off the concrete and a structural engineer has been brought in.
The fires are believed to be caused by people trying to stay warm, a literal flare signaling a continuing problem in the city.
There are increasingly large numbers of people who are working people. They are people that have good, secure jobs. But with the success of our respective cities, it is becoming difficult for them financially to find a place to live, and that is not good for the city.
According to PadMapper, a website that tracks listing, the median rent for a 1-bedroom now in the city is $2,200. The city has a 10-year plan to increase affordable housing. By the end of 2020, an additional 300 units are expected to be available. Not soon enough for those here.
I used to live in an apartment, and I'm here now because I can't afford it. I'm on welfare. Where the am I going to afford $1,800?
We have been working with them to come into shelter, to come into respite, to look at affordable housing options that may be available. All have declined those offers of service.
Nicole says she doesn't feel safe in a shelter. So like others, she says she's trapped in a cycle with no easy fix.
Just keep kicking us out, and then we have to find a new place to live. Then they'll come kick us out of there, and then we have to. So then we'll go back to the last spot we were at, and then so it's just a moving game. They keep moving us. We have what, 20 minutes?
Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, is the province ignoring the results of its own consultations on education changes? New data shows the majority of teachers, parents, and students don't support larger class sizes. We'll have more on what Doug Ford has to say after the break. Premier Ford got a bit upset with reporters today when he took questions for the first time in weeks and was asked about the province's problematic new license plates.
You got to be kidding me, Colin. You got to be kidding. We sent a press release Friday just for these folks that can't believe what I deal with this media here in Toronto. We've given them a press release on Friday. We gave you the details. It's being corrected. We're going to have good license plates. But we're here to talk about an historic investment that this province and this country hasn't seen.
Now, the Premier was asked what specifically was wrong with the plates that hit the road last month. The license plates were flagged by police officers and drivers as being difficult to read at night. Today, Ford said the issue is being corrected by the manufacturer and that there will be zero expense to taxpayers. Now, another topic reporters asked the Premier about was the status of labor negotiations with teacher unions. Today, the opposition leaked the results of public consultations on education reforms that showed an overwhelming majority of people don't support larger class sizes. Lisa Shing has that story.
At a mining conference in Toronto today, Premier Doug Ford was peppered with questions while announcing a partnership with two First Nations on an access road to the Ring of Fire, a huge mining development in northern Ontario. Ford talked about education negotiations between unions and the province.
We're out there every single day listening to the parents, and what the parents are telling me, they want a fair deal.
But the opposition is questioning whether the government is listening, despite repeatedly saying it is.
The government has listened to those we serve. We've listened to parents and students.
Today, the NDP released results of a government consultation that saw 7,000 submissions from the public, including teachers, parents, and students. 70% were against bigger class sizes. Initially, the government increased the class size average from 22 to 28. After opposition, it backtracked and boosted the average to just 25. The results also found there wasn't a lot of support for mandatory online courses.
I hope that now that they've been embarrassed maybe into having to admit what people told them in that consultation, maybe they will reverse their cuts. I certainly hope so. They refused to share the results of that consultation because they knew that it contradicts with the path they've chosen.
The teachers themselves.
The Premier maintains that's not what's stalling negotiations.
But we aren't going to roll over like we've seen over the last 15 years. Billions and billions of dollars and extra bonuses, signing bonuses and pizza lunches and everything else that the previous government gave the teachers.
The elementary teachers have recently escalated job action while English Catholic teachers prepare for a one-day strike across the province on Thursday, the same day as some high school teachers will strike as discussions continue. Lisa Sheng, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead, we'll take you to an awards ceremony named after the woman who now graces our $10 bill. The Viola Desmond Awards are handed out at Ryerson tonight. We'll have more on that after the break. Plus, we'll take a look at your weather forecast for the week. Stay with us. We're back in just a few minutes.
A little bit of everything on the menu as we roll through the next couple of days. We've got some mild days ahead, no question about that. More in the plus side than certainly below zero, so that's great. Some unsettled weather, though. This unsettled pattern will continue. A little bit of sunshine on the menu, but some showers too. And then, yeah, all eyes on Friday with the potential for some snow working into the region. So first things first, let's show you the satellite and radar, and that is the back edge of that rain that's been falling today moving out. We've got a clearing pocket in behind, but quickly we'll build the clouds in and show more showers moving in for tomorrow ahead of this next weather maker that's going to be tracking in. So here's how things are going to play out. We can see for your hour by hour, temperatures will be dropping below the freezing mark north of the GTA tonight, where the skies will be more clear, and looking at the clouds lingering pretty thick through the GTA down the Golden Horseshoe, no question about that. We'll see temperatures ranging around the freezing mark for the Golden Horseshoe, and again as cold as -5 north of the GTA tonight. So a little bit of windshield scraping to go on, no question, for tomorrow morning. As we roll throughout the day, you'll note the clouds again building back in. Looks like a pretty solid chance of showers by lunchtime tomorrow, and then a better chance as we roll into the afternoon. Could even see a few wet flakes mixing in over the higher elevations, Niagara Escarpment. And then as we move into the commute time tomorrow, again, plan on more showers for the drive home and the walk home for tomorrow, no question. And into tomorrow evening, then we'll start to clear things out. Daytime highs tomorrow will get into the 4 and 5 degree range. Winds in from the northeast, sustained 5 to 10 with some gusts to 15, so not overly concerned about the winds tomorrow, but it's certainly going to be a damp day, so don't forget the umbrella as you head out the door for tomorrow morning. Now, looking into the long range, we are talking about that wave moving out. We've got a chance of a wet flurry mixed with a shower through primarily Wednesday morning, clearing skies into the afternoon, and certainly a nice day setting up for Thursday. That'll be the best day of the week in terms of the skies, and then we're talking about that next weather maker tracking in for Friday. And that does look set to bring some snowfall throughout the day on Friday. Again, the devil will be in the details with this one in terms of timing, the exact track. All that remains to be seen, and we've got a few days to obviously hone in on that. But all that said, if you have some travel plans on Friday, stay tuned to the forecast as we will get more detail on that, and that is certainly going to be one to watch. But a couple of nice days. As I said, that early morning chance of a flurry or a shower on Wednesday, clearing into the afternoon. Thursday looks good too, and Saturday looks great as well. So only really Friday to be concerned about at this point.
Coming up, we will take you to Ryerson University's 12th annual awards ceremony recognizing the contribution of Black women. It's all in honor of a woman famous for challenging racial injustice in this country. That's after the break. Canadians know the story of Viola Desmond. She's the civil rights activist who in 1946 demanded racial equity by taking a seat in a movie theater where only white people were permitted to sit. Tonight, a series of awards in her name were given at Ryerson University, honoring the hard work of some outstanding Black Canadian women. Ramna Shahzad was there.
From start to finish, it was an evening dedicated to celebrating the accomplishments of Black women in our community.
You know what? This is a beautiful sight to see, I have to say.
At the 12th annual Viola Desmond Award ceremony, 5 women received awards in honor of Black women considered leaders and revolutionizers in their fields. Those being honored not just familiar with the story of Viola Desmond, but in awe of it.
The very fact that I am able to be connected to her name is an honor. We're seldom told of the stories in which people had to stand and to fight for the freedoms that other people took for granted. And the story of Viola Desmond is really one of resilience. It's really one of saying, we belong here.
Journalist Nam Kiwanuka received her award in honor of Canadian hockey player Angela James. Receiving it, she says, feels like the passing of a baton.
Being honored here tonight is it's surreal. I went to Ryerson at a time when I didn't see very many people that looked like me. It makes me feel like I really am standing on the shoulders of giants. I know that's a cliche, people say that all the time, but when your name is in the same room, it really means that you can do anything, you can accomplish so much, and it just means the world to me.
For Senator Rosemary Moody, the ceremony is a reminder of her position as a role model in the community, something she says is important for leaders, especially young, diverse leaders, to recognize.
It's important that as you make your journey, look behind you, lift someone up, make sure that you are bringing someone along so that others are able to access the accomplishments you have made, and you're able to bring people to their own greatness, to achieve their own potential.
Ramna Shahzad, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, that is our newscast for tonight. Tomorrow on Q, Tom Power is going to be speaking with Dave Bautista. You may know him as the former wrestler turned actor, best known for playing Drax the Destroyer in the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies and those couple Avengers films as well. He's talking about his new film, My Spy. It's a comedy and it was shot right here in Toronto. You can hear that tomorrow at 10 a.m. on CBC Radio 1, 99.1 FM here in Toronto. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and you can get caught up anytime on our website, cbc.ca/Toronto. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.